Anxiety. The shape of what's missing, anxiety, is not fear. Fear knows its name. Fear has a face, a source, a sound in the hallway, or a shadow on the wall. But anxiety is nameless. It is the haunting sense that something is wrong, without knowing what. It is the body whispering danger, with no beast in sight. And that's what makes it so hard to fight. One cannot aim a sword at smoke. One cannot soothe what has no story. Anxiety is the echo of a warning that never arrived. It often begins as a tension in the gut, a slight catch in the breath, a racing thought, or worse, many racing thoughts, all sprinting toward invisible finish lines. It is the weight of what if, the pull of imagined futures and impossible contingencies. It is the mind trying to solve problems that have not occurred and may never occur, but feel in this moment utterly real. It is not irrational. It is the sate-pert, rational, overclocked, overattuned, overactive. Anxiety is reason turned up too loud. It is the mind doing laps, rehearsing, calculating, warning. It is the noble inner scout who stayed up too long with no rest, searching the horizon for threats, and eventually, when no threat is found, it starts to make them up, not maliciously, but because it believes it must. An anxious system is a loyal system. It is trying to help. That is the strange twist. It wants to keep the body alive, the soul safe, the future smooth, but it overshoots. It becomes too helpful, too vigilant, too precise, and then it becomes unbearable. Origins. The memory of instability, anxiety, is often born not in trauma, but in unreliability. The child who never knew if the parent would be angry or kind. The student who never knew when they'd be called on or ridiculed. The lover who never knew if today was safe or dangerous. The body learns to stay ready, always ready. Because the signal never came clearly, the world seemed to speak in static, and the nervous system learned to lean forward, ears perked, heart racing, always listening for danger in the silence. Anxiety is preparation as identity and that's the crux of it. After a while, the anxious one cannot tell the difference between themselves and their vigilance. They have always been this way, always scanning, predicting, avoiding. The body becomes a machine for dodging imaginary blows. It tightens at every sound. It over-explains. It double-checks the door. It plays out 5 versions of the conversation that may happen next week. And when it all goes fine, as it often does, it feels worse, because then the anxious one thinks, I shouldn't be like this. What's wrong with me? And so begins the anxiety about anxiety. It layers. The secret fuel of anxiety. There's a secret ingredient that keeps anxiety burning. That ingredient is shame. Somewhere along the line, the anxious person got the message, this is not how strong people act. Get over it. Why are you freaking out? You're being dramatic. And so the anxiety had to go underground. It couldn't be named anymore. It had to wear a mask. It had to show up as perfectionism, or as illness, or as control. It had to disguise itself in order to remain tolerated. And once shame gets involved, anxiety multiplies. Because now it must not only manage the world, it must also manage the appearance of not being anxious. It's exhausting. But the truth is, anxiety is not a weakness. It is a pattern, a rhythm learned by necessity. And like all patterns, it can be understood, retraced, gently rewritten. Healing, not silence, but soothing. The goal of healing anxiety is not the absence of anxiety. That would be like expecting the ocean to stop having waves. The nervous system is not a broken machine. It is a living, breathing sensor. But it has learned to fire too early, too often, too hard. So healing begins with acknowledgement. This is anxiety, not doom, not madness. Just the body doing what it learned to do. And then soothing. Soothing is different than solving. The anxious mind wants to solve. It loves information. It loves plans. It wants certainty. But soothing says, you're safe, even without knowing, even without solving, even without being sure. That's terrifying at first. But slowly the system begins to believe it. Sometimes soothing is physical, deep breath, hot shower, walk in silence. Sometimes it is auditory, a voice that does not rush, a tone that reassures, a sound that says, I'm not afraid of your fear. Sometimes it is relational, someone else who can hold the panic without needing to fix it, someone who can say, I'm here, without needing a why. And sometimes it is storytelling, telling the story of where it came from, naming the reasons, connecting the dots. When anxiety is no longer nameless, it begins to lose its grip. Anxiety as an unrecognized gift. There is one more twist, and it's not a small one. Anxiety, once befriended, often becomes the seed of brilliance. The anxious child became the wise adult who sees danger before it arrives. The anxious student became the gifted researcher, detail-focused and precise. The anxious lover became the deeply attuned partner. Anxiety, when no longer driven by panic, transforms into intuition, sensitivity, and care. It's the same engine, just directed differently. That's why the goal is never to erase anxiety. The goal is to listen to it but not obey it, to hear its music but not dance to every beat, to let it advise but not rule. Final note, the quiet in the middle. There is a quiet that lives beneath anxiety, not beyond it, beneath it. A quiet like the ocean floor. A stillness that says nothing is happening now. Right now in this breath, there is no fire. The anxious mind forgets this. It believes the danger is always, 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 but there is always a now, and now is almost never as bad as what was imagined. That quiet can be touched. Not always easily, not always quickly, but it is there. Underneath the storm, underneath the racing thoughts, underneath the predictions, and in that quiet there is no command to be perfect, or to be calm, or to be certain. There is just this breath, and then the next, and maybe that is enough.